Hello and welcome to the Rebuilding Futures podcast. This is your co-host, Kenneth Young. Now, normally when I started off, I say my other guests are not here today, and that is okay. But today, that is not the subject. We have in-house the other co-host, Mr. Elric Truvillion, who I always say I like to call Scoot, but Scoot is in the building. Scoot.
What's going on, Ken? How you doing, man? Glad to be here.
I am well, man. How about yourself?
I'm beautiful, man. Blessed and highly flavored, brother.
Okay, normally we do a little introduction, so I'm going to just let you talk about you, give your introduction, let the podcast world know who you are.
Okay. Well, okay. How you doing, world podcast? My name is Elric Truvillion, a.k.a. Scoot. I did a little time back in the days, prison time, that is TDC, we like to call it. And by doing that changed my life. Going into the prison system, before I went in, I had to get my mind wrapped around going into the prison system, because I had to realize that once I come out, I can't go in the same way I went in. I got to come out different. So therefore, I started doing some research on people that goes into prisons and how they come out. And so when I went and done my time, that's what I did. I paid my dues to society to come out to be a better man. And that's what a lot of people don't do. They go in, they commit a crime, they go in, they come back out and commit the same crime and do the same thing again, and it's a revolving door. But when I went into the system, I decided to get what I was going to get out of the system and to come back and apply myself to this society and obey the rules and the regulations that it takes to make a better life for my family. And that's what I did. And I'm glad I did that. It made a man out of me, the man that my parents wanted to see, the man my kids wanted to see, my grandkids wanted to see. So, and that's where I'm at. And so we created this broadcast to see if we could, to help the youth, to help society, to slow down the process of these revolving doors of the prison system around the world. Because if you look at it, you got a lot of youth out there, they have no guidance, and the first thing they want to do is commit a crime without even thinking about it. So therefore, it's up to us, to this generation, to create a platform or a guidance or a tool for these kids to come and talk to and want to make a better life for themselves, coming from broken homes and no father or no mother in the house to give them some guidance, or uncle or auntie. And so that's what we're here for, and we want to be here for you. So
Now, Scoot, I'm gonna jump in real quick, because I'm big on one of the missions that we have at our organization is, if you can think different, you can do different. And I heard you say when you were talking about thinking, what do you think? Is there a moment when you realized, or is there a moment when you started thinking different? Is there anything that happened, like maybe something that happened in your family that made you change just the way that you thought, your thought process on life?
Well, coming from a small town where I come from, Bogalusa, Louisiana, growing up in that city, it was only two things you could do to be successful. And that was either go to college and become something, or work at the local paper mill. And most of the kids at that time, that was your out or play sports. So there was nothing for the kids to do coming up but play sports. And then at one time, that's when the drugs and the crime went to its lowest, and I fell into that trap. And once I done that, I started looking at my city and started seeing kids from New York, kids from Texas, my age, were more advanced in thinking. So then therefore, around about 12 or 13 years old, I realized that the life I wanted and what I had to do to get that life I wanted. So therefore I had to do some things to get it. Unfortunately, I wasn't raised to go out and get a 9-to-5 because it couldn't pay me and put me where I wanted to be. So therefore I chose the life of crime, which was the wrong choice. And I didn't realize that until it was too late. I was behind bars at that time. And then that didn't make it no better because even though you go behind bars, that's when you become a real criminal and learn and perfect the crime that you're doing. Now, I got better at it, but then I had to realize the better I got at it, the more I couldn't sleep and the more I had to watch my back. So then I had to come to a conclusion. I had to make a choice. And that choice was harder than somebody's on drugs because the money, you're addicted to the money. You have a drug addict that's addicted to the drug, and you have a hustler that's addicted to the money. When the money's coming fast, you don't want to stop. And when the drug is addictive, you keep wanting it. And so you have to make a choice. And it's a mindset. And you have to look at the values of your family and the values of life to realize you need to make a change or make a choice. And that's what I did. My grandmother was living, and I always wanted to be a sparkle in my grandmother's eyes. I always wanted to be a sparkle in my mama's eyes, my daddy's eyes, my kids' eyes. So I had to make a decision. You know, they can come see me all the time behind bars, or they can see me out here blood, sweat, and tears trying to make a living. And that's what I did. So I will say, Ken, around about 12 or 13 years old, I started thinking grown, because at this time, unfortunately at this time, I had a daughter on the way. Yeah, I had a daughter on the way.
Now, when you say you had a daughter on the way at 12?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so then I started to making some life changes, decisions, because at that time, I couldn't provide for a child bringing it in this world. So that's what helped me to go get the quick and fast money, making those choices, because I didn't have anybody to guide me. Well, I ain't gonna say I didn't have anybody to guide me, because my father was there. You know, my eyes wasn't open to working as hard as my mom and grandmother and dad was doing. I wanted to get the quick and fast and easy money. And so that's the choices I made. And that's what life is all about. Life is about the choices that you make. You have to make and think about what you're doing before you do it, and realize and play it out in your head the outcome of the decision that you make, because those are the consequences. And that's what happened with me. I didn't think it all the way through. And by not thinking it all the way through, I fell victim to the consequences of going to prison.
And I got a question for you on that point right there, when you say you didn't think it all the way through. Now, for me, I've been knowing you for a good long time, yeah. And so I'm always thinking of you as the thinker. I don't always claim a lot of people can match wits with me, but I always say school can match wits with me. So when you say you didn't think it all the way through, do you think it's possible, and this is just me asking from the way I look at life, is it possible you thought it all the way through, but the outcome was the desired outcome? So it's like our last podcast episode, I was talking about thinking and whose hand are you in? A hammer is a hammer. Me and you did construction together.
Right.
So if we started out construction at the very beginning of that job. We were building that house. We used a hammer to tear something down.
Right.
We used that same hammer to build the house.
Right.
So depending on what hand it's in, is depending on what that tool can do, and our bodies and everything is the same way. We are being used in some specific shape, form, or fashion. We can think a thing out, but if our desired outcome, so it's like, I want to go over this when we was growing up, I want to go over this girl house. I'm gonna have to get on this bike. I'm gonna have to ride this bike all the way up the street. I know we got a certain amount of time for her mama get home.
Right.
Her mama can possibly come home. You know about our other co-host, when he get here, he'll have some stories about that. But mama coming home, but I knew everything that could happen.
Right.
Just my reason for getting to that house was what I wanted. So I thought it all the way out, because I figured out how to get there and then how to get back, even if I got in trouble. But it was just I may get in trouble, but what I want, which of course, as a young man, we all want the same thing. We all hopping on that bike, riding, miles. What I wanted was so powerful that I still did it. So you think at that age, or at some point you thought it out and you decided that was the outcome, or do you think it wasn't thought out? And I asked you that question because what we're doing with critical thinking with kids.
Right.
Training them how to think.
Right.
But sometimes we have to understand, even if we train them to think critically, they may want the bad outcome.
Right.
They'll think it all the way out, like supervillains on Marvel. They think well,
right.
They just want chaos.
Right.
So do you think you thought it out and you just decided on chaos, or you think you didn't think it, you didn't have all the information to think it all the way out?
Well, and this is just my belief. I think and I believe that the average person, teenager, that's out there dealing drugs or in the life of crime, some of them have a sole purpose of getting rich, okay? And they'll, by any means, they'll do anything to do that. Now, do they think it all the way through? They think it to a point, because if they thought it all the way through, they know at some point in time they're gonna get caught. And so when they get caught, they figure they'll deal with that situation. Then until then, it's whatever. But depending on the person and the mentality of that person, how far they're gonna think, it's gonna become what they're used to seeing around them in their community. They see the rims, the cars, the clothes, and you know, most cats, that's what they do. They hustle for the weekend. They get out there, they make a quick hustle quickly, and they broke the next Tuesday. The following Tuesday they broke. Mm-hmm. So now they got to get their next, you know, what they call lick, or their next, you know, score. Same way with a drug addict. You know, that drug addict, you know, steal that TV or steal that VCR, you know, back then, and didn't think nothing of it until it's time, you know, when they come down off that highway, like, man, I done broke in these people's house. I broke into my dad's house, or I broke into my mama's house, my auntie, my cousin, or I done plundered my kids' gang or whatever. And then it's next to your next thinking. Everybody thinks, but everybody don't. And everybody think to a certain point, but they just don't want to go no further because they want what they want. So, yeah. Say for instance, I'm using myself as an example. When I was coming up, I wanted a car, truck, okay?
Was this the Monte Carlo?
Yeah, the Monte Carlo.
Okay.
The Monte Carlo. And I got the Monte Carlo. My dad actually, you know, I paid my daddy. My daddy, he brought me up right to, you know, he didn't buy my stuff, you know. I probably didn't pay full price for it, but I had to give him something for the car. And I got the car, and my dad, he gave me the rundown of the car and told me how to take care of the car and stuff, and that thing. And I started doing things. Now I wanted a radio. Now I wanted a system. You know what I'm saying? My dad wasn't doing all of that. And the job that I had was, I think I was probably making $2.75, $3.75. Wasn't nothing. And wanted that pull out, that Kentwood pull out, man. So now I got to figure out what I got to do. And the job just wasn't cutting it. And when you see all the activity going around in the neighborhood, you see all the activity and this doing that and that and third, you start tapping into it. And once you tap into it, it's like a drug addict taking that first hit off that pipe. It's a wow to you. And you get that first, when you make that first deal, that first sale, you see how quick the money come, and the money coming every 10, 15, 20 minutes. It's an addiction. It's an addiction, and then you stop thinking, and then you stop thinking. You start saying, well, it won't happen to me. Or I didn't get caught this time. Or I didn't get caught this time. Or they got caught over there. I'm watching them. And that's not the case. The case is at one point in time, no matter who you are, what you're doing, they got a place for you.
Yeah.
It's either some of your homeboys or one of your enemies is going to tell on you, set you up, and you in that situation. And who going to suffer? Your family, man. Your family. When you go do prison time, you don't suffer. Your family suffer. Your kids, your grandkids, your mom, your dad, your grandparents. They the one that suffer. So when I sat behind those bars and I prayed to the good Lord to let me do this time and come home to everybody, I know how to, do no funerals while I was locked up. I do my best not to go back for nothing petty. And that's where I'm at. And right now I can say life is good. Life is beautiful. And one more thing, Ken. I think that it's the way you wake up in the morning. If you take your alarm clock, and you don't like the way it sounds when they wake you up in the morning, then that means you're gonna have a bad attitude, grouchy feeling. The job that I have now, I don't even have an alarm clock. I'm on the job an hour, 2 hours early because I love my job. It was my dream job. When I did have a job that I had an alarm, every time I heard that alarm go off, it pisses me off. It made me mad because I knew it was time to go to that job, and I didn't like that job. So when you change the way you wake up and change the way you go to bed, your day will go better and your life will go better. And I truly believe that.
I can attest to that because I remember we was doing construction. You pull up to the house in the Monte Carlo to pick us up, and we late. You outside like how I'm picking y'all up. I got up before y'all, and y'all still ain't ready to come out this house and get to work. So I can attest to that. I love it how you say life is beautiful.
It is.
I try to tell everybody life is balanced. The only reason you know you had a good day is because you have a bad day to equate it to. You have a bad day to look at. The only way you know it's sunny outside is because some days it's raining. You have to have a balance in life. Your TV don't work without the negative side of the wires going to it. So I've seen you since I've known you. And so for y'all that don't know, I think Scoot is a year younger than me. Scoot, you're a year younger than me?
Maybe 2.
Maybe 2 years younger than me? So Scoot about 2 years younger than me, but in my head, it's like he a big brother. Because I'm 6'3", but Scoot got size.
Yeah.
But all of my education and all the rest of that came from a specific source. So it was like I was in school. I try to keep my head in books, so I read a lot. Mm-hmm. But you just knew so much more about just life. So life outside of the books.
Right.
Life outside of the what I was studying. And even though I had other friends that knew as well, they just didn't think. So I respect thinkers. So people who think, okay, I'm looking at them, I'm watching people. People call me quiet. I'm really studying people.
Right.
And so when we were working together, I'm like, okay, yeah, Scoot can do that because Scoot is going to think. He's going to think it. When we gave 19 a hammer, not 19, but Tony. Remember Tony? We gave Tony a hammer, the whole house tore down. Tony, you ain't supposed to tear down the whole house. You supposed to tear down the part we told you to tear down. And then, but you always come through and level-headed everybody out with just the thought process. Mm-hmm. So it was always like, Scoot was younger. I remember when I found out you was younger than me. Mm-hmm. I almost felt bad. I was like, man, I'm thinking he's like a big brother, and he 2 years younger than me. So it's the knowledge that you picked up that people think you have to get in books. And then not just the knowledge that you pick up, it's when you can pick up knowledge, hold it, and then able to regurgitate it, able to put it back out where people understand it. I've always thought that was one of your biggest gifts to me when I think back on it, was you had the ability to get knowledge, which is why I knew you'd be a perfect host for podcasters. You can get knowledge and then deliver that knowledge to the masses in the way that the masses would understand it, in the verbiage and the language that everybody understood. I knew what you was talking about every time you were talking about it. Mm-hmm. I know you were talking about your daughter, having your daughter when you were 12, and then you said you didn't want to have any funerals while you were in prison. Did you have any funerals while you were in prison?
No, God answered all my prayers. He answered all my prayers, so therefore I had to come and do. Now, I will say when I first got out, I didn't, because once you come out, get out them gates, get freedom, bro, you wide open. You wide open. And then when things start getting to a point, God's going to slow you down. He'll slow you down. And he remind you, hey, you remember you said this? Remember you said that? And then you start thinking. And then, but me, Ken, I always been a thinker. I always been a observer of people. Because I wasn't the brightest kid in the class. So I had...
I don't know why I just don't believe that.
And I had to, I honestly really had to find a way to do things. So I had to learn how to read people. I had to learn how to, and I listened. Mm-hmm. I listened to a lot of my elder people, and I listened to them. I watched them. I studied them. I studied people. I studied what people do, and this is what I learned. This is going to be very interesting. People can't make you mad. You make yourself mad, because us as human beings, we stereotype people. So the first time you get with a person, you hang with a person, you say, hey man, that's my best friend, that's my best friend. Well, that's your best friend because you claim that to be your best friend. But when your best friend steals from you, is he still your best friend? No. Now he done showed you, or she done showed you who she really are. You see what I'm saying? People show you who they really are. All you gotta do is pay attention. Because we stereotype people. You see somebody say, oh yeah, he's a good dude. But not knowing he just committed a robbery. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? So, and then now when he committed a robbery, now he done told you who he truly is. People tell you who they are by their work, so what they do. Yeah. And, a lot of people can tell you, hey man, let me see what you could do. And so that's what I've learned. So my grandmother, she always told me, she said, you can think for yourself and you can listen to what other people tell you, but you take what they tell you and what you already know and put it in a bowl and come up with something. Mm-hmm. And that's how you get through life. And so that's what I do. I watch how old people eat, sleep, and how they, they go through this community, mm-hmm. how they carry themselves. And I say, well, that's how I want to be. And I listen to the chat in the background about these old people. Man, that old man there, he was this. Man, that old man, he was that. So what he had to do to become that. So, and that's what I learned how to do. I learned how to pick up on that, and I learned how to look at the young kids, the younger generation. I shouldn't say young kid, the younger generation that's out here doing what they doing. And they just really want somebody to come and talk. Some of them you can talk to them. Some of them they so far gone you can't. But and it's the approach that you come to them. You got to come to them approach. You got to disarm them. You got to know how to disarm them with conversation. Mm-hmm. You got to know how to disarm them with the approach. Let me ask you a question, Ken. So just to show you something right quick. So if you go to a club, and this club got this big old bouncer, 400 pounds, big old guy. Then sitting beside him, you got this little bitty guy. Now, which one you think is the deadliest guy?
The natural instinct is gonna be the 400 pounder.
Right. You know why? Because that's what you see.
Yeah.
That's what most people are afraid of, are big people.
Yeah.
But guess who got the gun?
The little guy.
In the conversation. The little guy. And the little guy gonna come to you. He gonna come to you. You gonna be mad and pissed off. He gonna come to you all humble and everything. Because if that big guy come to you all soft and everything, you ready to fight that big guy. But see, if that little guy come to you, hey man, look, what's the problem? And you gonna calm down.
Yeah.
See, that's how you have to disarm people.
Yeah.
Even though I'm a big guy, now I got to know how to approach a person, because they intimidated
by you automatically.
By me automatically.
Mm-hmm.
Get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so you have to know these kids, man. When you see them, you have to read them.
Yeah.
Standing out there on the corner doing this. Now you got to know how to approach them.
Mm-hmm.
Now you got to know how to talk to them. Now you got to know what to say to them. You got to be careful, because most of them got guns.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Most of them don't care. So you got to know how to disarm them. You can't go up, and everybody love to laugh.
Yeah.
So if you started out with a laugh, or started out with, something they got on, hey man, I like them little shoes you got on, man, I like your little shirt, man, what you think I can get a pair? You start a conversation and you can get to them. And then you start trying to disarm them with conversation, see how much knowledge they got. Because some of them out here doing drugs and on drugs, and they've made that wrong decision.
Mm-hmm.
And it's trying to, we need to try to get them back on the right path. So the way they doing these drugs now, man, it's kind of hard to do that. And we just got to figure out a way to stop them from seeing people doing drugs and having good, nice things, because that makes them want to do that same thing. So critical thinking is going to have to be on the top of the food chain for people to put out there.
I will say, you said critical thinking made me think of this. At one when we were building the house.
Not the pool table.
No, not the pool table. No. But I remember when the framing crew wasn't working fast enough for us.
Uh-huh.
And they got it was supposed to be digging the trenches to put the foundation down, wasn't showing up.
Mm-hmm.
So me and Chris hop on the Bobcat.
Critical thinking.
We have never dug them trenches before. And you just sat up there and looked at us.
What is they doing?
What are they doing? Me and Chris just going after it.
Yeah.
Y'all know what y'all doing?
Nope.
Are y'all doing this right? You never hopped in the Bobcat. You sat right there and looked at us, and then when the guy finally did show up, he said, y'all 6 feet too deep.
So see, and that's what I'm saying. Sometimes, and I'm gonna show you another story. Watch this. So back in the days, me and my partner, we were riding on little bikes out in front of the house. And Evil Knievel was the thing.
Yeah.
Okay, jumping the ramp. So we built this little ramp. So now the thing is who gonna jump the ramp first?
Mm-hmm.
I never want to be the first person.
Okay.
Because I don't know how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You got to show me how to do it.
Yeah.
So we sat there for a minute. We done built this ramp now. This is what my critical. I guess I had critical thinking back then. I mean, I really just don't know, because I sat back. I said, "Nah, man, your bike better than mine. Your bike faster than mine." So sure enough, he go there. He jumped that ramp. He fall and skin himself up real bad.
Yeah.
Okay. So now he in the house crying. His mama patching him up, and so that ramp's still there now. Mm-hmm. The ramp's still there. Who gonna jump it now? Some other little partner, he go there, he jumps it.
Yeah.
But he wasn't going fast enough. You see what I'm saying? So all he do is come over the front of the boom, fall over, he flips over.
Yeah.
So I said, I see what they doing wrong. Mm-hmm. When they jump the ramp, they don't pull up and stand up on the bike.
Yeah.
So that's what I did.
So you did it right.
I did it right. So when you watch people and you observe and you play off of their mistakes. So I learned how to play off people's mistakes. And so and it's just me. I just, I can sit. I guess, like you said, you self-taught education. I self-taught a lot of my stuff in people. By, I taught myself how to drive. I taught myself how to ride a motorbike. Oh man, that was, and I've taught other people, and I've learned how to teach other people. So I had a job. I had this other job. I was an instructor. Okay. And to be an instructor, anybody can be a teacher. And that's why this is where I learned how to have my most respect. I would love to go back to each and every one of my teachers and give them a hug and tell them sorry. Because I gave them hell. I gave each and last one of my teachers hell. So you have to learn how to listen and remember where you came from and what you did when you was in that situation, to be able to teach a person. And then you got this one student that's gonna always be the outcast, and that was me. Now you gotta learn how to deal with that student and then keep the other 4 or 5 students or another 38, 28 kids in line. And so once I became an instructor and I started understanding that I was changing lives and learned how to explain to people how to drive and how to back up, I got very passionate about it. And then I had to break it down to a layman's term of teaching this person how to do this and how to do that. Because most people, they learn different ways. You got people that learn by visual. You got a lot of people that learn by just listening. And then you have people that they have to be hands-on. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's what I learned. Then you got people that learn real slow. And people that learn real fast. Because, and how I come up with this is, I had a doctor. To be honest with you, he was a doctor. Well-educated guy. Couldn't back the truck up to save his life. Couldn't back the truck up to save his life. And every time you come to the backing range, he would say, well, hey, Elric, I looked at this YouTube, and I looked at this YouTube, and I looked at this guy. You got 8 million people on YouTube trying to show you how to back up. And they got 8 million different vehicles and 8 million different trailers. So, and he would come to the back range and every day. And I said, man, how you so highly educated? And I'm telling you, all you gotta do is watch the mirror here, and then when you do this here, you watch in that mirror, and you do this. And he could never get it to save his life. So I said, man, when you go back to your room, what do you do? He said, man, I just sit here and I watch these videos and I take notes. So one day he came to me, had a notebook of notes. A notebook of notes on how to back up. And I says, I don't mean no harm. I don't want to see them notes, because how can you want me to teach you when you go and watch videos of YouTube or somebody else in a different truck doing different techniques, and then you try to come back here and apply it to what I'm teaching you, and then what he's teaching you and telling you, it's not going to work. I said, well, this is what I want you to do. Give me that notebook. I took that notebook, the notes he had, and I tore them up. And I said, when you go back to your room, I said, I don't want you to watch YouTube. I don't want you to pick up a book. I want you to just go somewhere and have you some fun. Because you're trying too hard. See what I'm saying? You're letting this little old stuff, you're making it complicated. You make it into something bigger than what it is. And so he come back the next day. He said, Elric, I went in my room and I just sat down and I just watched TV. Nothing about a truck. Did nothing about a truck. I said, fine. I said, now come on, get in this truck and do this and do that and do that. And from then on,
he been able to back up.
He was able to back up. It came to him like, and this was an African guy. He was an African guy. And he felt kind of bad because he was like, Elric, back in my country, man, they look up for me because I had to tell them how to route the sewer. Some kind of way they had the sewer. And he said they look up to me that I had to do stuff like that. I'm the guy that always come up and solve the problem. And just backing this truck up was just so hard for me. I said, man, because you make things more complicated than what they are. You get too technical. Backing a truck up is nothing hard. Now you a doctor, you trying to do surgery now. Now I can't. You just can't teach me how to do a surgery. No, that's more technical stuff you have to do. Back in the truck, let's not do that. This is fun. And so when you learn how to do that, and I learned too. And I learned that, the smarter you are, the harder it is for you to learn how to back a truck up. And so people that learn slow seems to catch on and get it real good. So what I'm saying that to say this: some people in life has to have a second chance because they didn't get it the first time. So by them getting a second chance, they see where they messed up the first time, and they understand where they messed up the first time. And when they get that second chance to get right back on that horse and do real good, they say, well, I ain't gonna mess it up this time because I may not get a third chance in life. And so I believe in second chance people is gonna do better because now they get it. And so, because you have very intelligent people that's smart. They get it, but they don't get it. They not comfortable where they are because they stressed out. So a person that second chance person is going to be stressed as well. Don't get me wrong. It's going to be stressed, but not as stressed because that first person never took the chance or never seen the outcome to the point where they had to be the outcome and take the sacrifice. Well, that second chance person took the sacrifice and say, oh, I don't want to go there. I don't want to be there no more. So he's not going to make bad choices. Make sense?
Yeah, it's funny. You said about second chances. And of course, for what we're doing right now, the organization, I've been thinking about second chances because when you talk about re-entry, transition of citizens, people trying to re-enter back into, as they call it, society. And we look at someone that's been incarcerated and we automatically think second chance. Okay, you're going to get out. You're going to get out of jail, be released, and society's going to have to give you a second chance. When I don't think we as a society realize that all of us are on second and third chances. We have longer sentences than some of the people who have been incarcerated, because when you're incarcerated, your sin is sitting right in front of you. I'm sitting in the cell. I cannot get out of the cell. I have to face the fact that I made a bad decision. There are people that make bad decisions with jobs, relationships, all type of stuff, and they stay in them a lot longer because they're not in jail. It's a little bit more comfortable, and they're not faced with it. And then once they decide, okay, this is not the way my life is supposed to be going, I'm gonna have to get a second chance. A lot of people don't know. Surprised when I tell them, like, I spent 3 years in the 8th grade.
Wow.
Had nothing to do with, you know me. Like, as people say not to be braggadocious, I consider myself smart. I knew the word. I didn't get along with the people I was in school with. And so coming from my household where, I got, my family, everybody's all women. So I grew up with all women. So I get around a situation where it's a bunch of guys, I'm not as comfortable because I'm watching myself. Am I walking right? Am I holding my books right? Self-conscious the whole time. So it was just, wait a minute. I don't feel comfortable around this group, I'm gonna stay right here. I don't feel comfortable around this group, I'm gonna stay right here. It wasn't until Gail caught up to me, G Money, that I was like, wait a minute, I can't let G Money pass me. So I better do what I need to do. And I did it, and then I caught up and all the rest of that. But then I always compensated, like having all of y'all around. I had to find groups that I felt comfortable in. okay, this is the group I feel comfortable in. You know how close me and my cousin are.
Right.
It's a group that I feel comfortable in. Nobody's going to judge me to a certain extent. The most y'all ever called me was square.
Yeah.
That was it.
At a good point.
Yeah, at a good point. But other groups, it was okay and they walking right. A lot of people don't know I broke my hip when I was 3. Mm-hmm. So because I broke my hip when I was 3, and the hospital I went to was brand new, they set it the best they could. Mm-hmm. But I walk and they go, oh, Ken's walking with a twitch. No, Ken walks like a kid whose hip was broken at 3 without, the medicine that they have today. But decisions that I made at that point, okay, not having to stand in 8th grade for 3 years, getting to high school and going, wait a minute, I don't even want, when I got to high school, I caught back up with all the people I want to be around. Mm-hmm. So then when I got back there, I went to my mom like, I ain't going back here. You not? No, Mom, if you want me alive, you'll let me not go back to this school. And so she was, okay, well then you not go back to the school. Then I had my, like I say, my 152 cuts on my arm, to where I was sitting somewhere in a hospital and cuz came up to me, looked at me just like I'm looking at you. Nigga,
what did you do?
What the fuck are you doing? So school, I wasn't faced with it like other people were, but I still had to be faced with my decisions, and I still had to have a second chance.
Right.
To where now it's, wait a minute, I have to rebuild who I am. I have to figure out, how do I go back into society? When I go around people now, like somebody that's been incarcerated would say, they go out and they worried about their record. I'm still somewhat worried of my record, because I'm like, I'm doing business and stuff, and I'm worried if these people are going to say, oh, that's Ken that was in 8th grade for 3 years, because they still know me as the old version of me. And most people are dealing with second chance situations. We just like to, it's easy for us to put it on one group of people without realizing everybody is going through a second chance.
Or third chance.
Well, people who don't get incarcerated going through 10 chances.
Yeah.
Because they've done some horrible stuff. You know what I mean? Weren't prosecuted for it. Okay, so they didn't have to change. There was nothing sitting up in front of them saying, okay, so they can do it again, and they can do it again, and they can do it again, and they can do it again. They don't have to worry about second chances.
The consequences.
That's what I like about what we're doing. What we're trying to do is, one, trying to help a demographic of people understand about second chances and how you can think differently if that's not the route you want to go down again. But at the same time, bring light to everybody. Me and you good friends.
Right.
Different paths, but to me, my life is not much different, because like I said, I had my time where I wasn't living up to, if you're not living up to your potential, then you're no different than anybody else.
Right.
I wasn't living up to my full potential, but I was able to exist in my world. It wouldn't been like, as you say, the high off of money and all the rest of that stuff. I got my high off of, I'm just out and I'm around the people that I need to be around for me to exist.
Right.
For me to be comfortable. Like I said, I had to have the best looking girlfriend, because if I had the best looking girlfriend, couldn't nobody talk about me.
Right.
Yeah, I fit in.
Right.
But if I had the best looking girlfriend, my cousin's still gonna be somewhere close to me. So just in case you got out of line, I had some backup. That's not let's say that's not a productive life. Because the best life is when you just happy with you.
Yeah.
When you just comfortable with yourself. When you can walk in the room as yourself. And that's what I always admired you and Chris and everybody else, because I would sit back, I go, damn, School walks in a room at school. He is 100% School. He don't need nobody else to tell him nothing. He comes in with the name School. When we went to Bogalusa, but seeing who you are, when we went to, and for, like, y'all don't know, but when they had Hurricane Katrina, we packed up a load of supplies on a trailer, drove it down to Bogalusa. You was hopping out and talking to everybody and giving out stuff. You showed back up as School. I mean, speaking of Bogalusa, where's the Scoot had this Mustang, y'all. And Scoot had been bragging about this Mustang since I known him. This Mustang. We going to Bogalusa, we gonna get this Mustang, and it's gonna beat everything in Dallas. Everything in Dallas.
Yeah.
We sitting outside his house. Scoot get in this Mustang. He take off up the street. This Mustang backfires so loud, everybody hit the ground. We all dropped.
Yeah.
Pow!
Yeah.
Scoot turned the corner, came back down. Where is you still have the Mustang?
I still got it, still in existence. It don't have a motor in it yet, but it's a work in progress.
You still got it?
I still got it. And see, that's the thing, Ken. That's the thing, man. And that's why I say, man, God has been good to me. That's why every day I wake up, bro, I'm happy. Every day I go to sleep, I'm happy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I've been in places, bro. I've been to I can say I've been to the bottom and never lost nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I've been to prison.
Yeah.
And never lost nothing, and I can't say I lost time, because being in prison, bro, it gave me, it opened my mind up. It opened my mind up to a lot of stuff. I got in there, learned how to play chess, and that's another thing, bro. With critical thinking, chess helped me to do a lot of my critical thinking and prioritizing life.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, guys go into prison, and, you know, they get their workout on with the weights, and that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got guys, you know, that goes in and get their workout with books,
mm-hmm.
and that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got guys that go in and they get their chess game good,
mm-hmm.
and that's cool. So with all these things going on in the prison system, you have to, end of the day, you have to do some critical thinking, because now you got to figure out which lane you want to be in, what's going to be best beneficial for you.
Yeah.
So what I did was, I did all three.
Mm-hmm.
You know, got me some books, read me some books, got my workout on, and I got my chess game together.
Yeah.
And when I come out, like I said, because my decision was, when going into prison, I didn't want to come out the same guy.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning that I didn't want to have the same frame of thinking,
mm-hmm.
because I knew I had to sit down, I had to do some time, so therefore it's time for me to get myself together. I had to listen to the things that my grandparents, my parents had said to me, while I messed up, what my friends and, you know, said to me. And while I was in prison, all these thoughts were going through my head. You know what I'm saying? And I had to get myself together when I come up out of prison. And when I came out, and I'm gonna tell you, when I came out, it wasn't easy.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you make a pact with yourself and say, you're gonna do this, you do this when I get out of prison, 9 times out of 10, man, that's you're gonna leave it in prison.
Yeah.
You know, but you have to be man enough to yourself, a woman enough to yourself to say, okay, I said I'm gonna do it. Let me go on and apply myself.
Mm-hmm.
And start applying yourself to these things that you want out of life. And it's gonna take time, and it's gonna take some blood, sweat, and tears. And you're gonna be faced to do the things that you did to take you to prison. But you have to be, and that's that addiction, and that's where you have to fight just as hard as a drug addict.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so prison.
What's the one? Not your kids, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So we know your kids, your family, your parents, your grandparents. If you had to equate one thing
Mm-hmm.
for your success, so anybody that's listening, anybody that will listen to this podcast, the one thing where you say, I think that could have been a turning point for me when I got out that helped me, as you say, kick the habit.
Okay, I'm glad you said that, because that was a point. So, and the things I was doing was, first of all, you know, I had to, I got out, and I was still doing my little deal, and I realized everybody around me wasn't going nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning that it wasn't that they weren't making no money, it's just, it's the same old thing. And then I realized that there's an end to this somewhere. And so I'm driving, I got did what I need to do. I got a truckload of money. And I'm thinking to myself, I said, I gotta do this all over again. How many times I can do this and nothing happens. And then if something happens, ain't nobody gonna love my wife, ain't nobody gonna love my kids, ain't nobody gonna love my mama or my daddy like I do. You get what I'm saying? And so I said, and I'm tired of, having to go a certain way home. I'm tired of being afraid of the police. Every time they pull me over, if I got any warrants, I'm tired.
Yeah.
I'm tired. So I had to make a decision. So I said, what it is that I like to do, I don't have to make no money. And I just like doing, but they pay me anyway. And I kept thinking, I said, man, my education ain't that good, man. I ain't never been to college. And I said, man, I'm too old to play sports, man. I said, what can I do? What can I be creative to do? Everything I kept saying, the only thing I like to do is drive. That's all I kept saying. The only thing I like to do is drive. So that was my turning point. That's when I said, you know what? I'm gonna get my CDLs. And so, and that was another task. So now everybody I would talk to that drove trucks, you can go get your CDLs. But they could never tell me how to go about getting them. So I got a job. I worked at Walmart in the shop. I didn't want to do no stocking. I want to do mechanic work. Okay. Be around the cars, changing oil and all that those type of stuff. And I was in there with a guy, and that's how God works. When you stay a man of your word, a woman of your word, God will put people in place. He's gonna put people in place, and they're gonna always be right on time. So I was in the shop working, changing oil, changing tires and stuff like that. And this one guy, he came in there. He's like, I said, man, what you do? He said, man, I drive trucks. I used to drive trucks, but I just lost my CDLs, so I had to come get me a job. I said, how you drive trucks? What you had to do? So he told me what to do, and I said, okay. And I did it, and it wasn't successful. Then so I ran across this other guy, and I told him, I said, man, I tried to do it, man, I wasn't successful. He said, man, you don't need to go that route. He said, that route you go, you're gonna have to pay. So he said, I'm gonna come by your house in the morning, because he lived with one of my neighbors, Terrence Miller. I'll never forget him. Old Terrence Miller. And he said, man, I'm gonna come get you. And I just shoot it off, you know what I'm saying? And sure enough, bright and early that next morning, he's knocking on my door. I go to the door. I said, what's up? He said, come on, man, let's go. I said, go where? I said, man, we're taking you up into the school. And he literally took me by my hand, bro. After I put my clothes on, we jumped in the car, man, and took me out to the school, man, and that was history, bro.
That was it.
Driving. And what I did and what I still do, I can go to that school right now, bro. And I'm hired. All the thing you gonna ask me is my bank account still the same? And anybody that wants to drive, or anybody that's have the intentions or the desire, I hold them by the hand. I take them to the school. Not literally hold them by the hand, but I make the phone calls, I make the steps, I do call them back, I check on them. And some people take a little longer than others, because I can remember it's hard. It's hard, and some of us as people that's trying to get a second or third chance, we sit back and we want people to grab us by the hand and take us to the water. We'll drink on our own, but we need somebody to grab us by the hand and take us to the water, which we can walk to the water ourselves. Just, hey man, the pond right down there, just go down there. We won't go. But if you come and take me and walk with me down, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna start drinking. And once I start drinking and feeling and get like, wow, now I know. So the next person that I hear that want to do this, I'm gonna do what? I'm gonna grab them by the hand, because I know that's what they want, and take them on in there. Now, once you get in there, once you get to the pond, it's up to you to drink. And see, that's why I go back, and I was saying earlier about people show you who they are. People show you who they are.
All the time.
If a person come to me, hey man, I want to give them a CD, and I take you to the schoolhouse and take you up there, or I make the phone calls and put you on, hey man, this is the number you need to call. You need to call this guy and talk to this guy and talk to this guy. And then I call you the next week and say, did you call? Oh man, no, I forgot. And I call you the next week. Nah, man, I forgot. What you telling me? You really don't want it.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So now he's showing me he's a big talk, because people talk the talk, but will they walk the walk? So he told me, yeah, I want to give him CDs, or I want to do this. And then when you get to that point and you come up with an excuse, then you don't want it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what we have to get with second chance with anybody, for that matter. Whether it's first chance, second chance, third chance, they need someone to hold them by the hand, and then we can take the training wheels off, if that's possible.
It's two things. One of my favorite quotes of everything I heard DMX said. He said, it takes too much energy to not trust anybody.
Right.
He said he trusts everybody. There's too much energy to not trust anybody. You just have to know who they are and trust your ability to see it well. Trust your ability to see who they are, and then believe what you see. Not what you want. Believe what you see, because that is who they are. If I had to learn that a long time ago, I probably would have fewer heartbreaks, because people always show you who they are. I had a girlfriend, she showed me every scoop, me and my cousin fought. Because he said, that girl's old. What? How you gonna call my girl? You what? That's who she was. I knew it.
But you didn't want to see it.
But I didn't want to see it. And like DMX said, if I had just, no, she showed me who she is. Me and Chris out in the middle of the street swinging, but not swinging at each other, because we family.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to listen. I think what you were saying, they said elephant. A baby elephant, you tie it to a stick when it's young, you can't break the stick. But the same stick and the same rope will hold adult elephant, because it's gotten so accustomed to being tied up, it doesn't know it's powerful enough to get away from it. So maybe when they get out, maybe when someone gets out and you're working on that second chance, you need somebody to hold your hand, because you still in the mind frame, but you can't do something without somebody telling you to do it. You can't move without somebody telling you to move. You can't, maybe that's part of it. I know we're gonna close down, but in closing, I'm gonna ask you this: What is your desired goal? What would you like to see happening if you could leave a mark? Okay. So you over in one of the offices over here, we got Muhammad Ali say, "How would you like to be remembered?" But if we ain't gonna go more and go, "How would you like to be remembered?" Because we got too much life left to live. I saw the way you looking at, bro. I just told you life is good. You talking about how I want to be remembered, but what would you want that to? What do you want your legacy? So now that you have life is, and I'm telling y'all, and I'm telling you this for a reason, not to, like I said, it's never to be, as people say, braggadocious. His life is good. You see his picture on the podcast. I heard the Harley pull up outside. I looked out the window. I said, I know there's a motorcycle, so there's got to be Scoop. Yeah. So he is living good. So you have successfully gone from where you've been and gotten to where you at. And it's not I don't say the Harley to say the Harley, okay? I say the Harley to say you happy.
I'm happy.
You happy. That's the biggest. People think success is, okay, I got this Lamborghini, I got this car, I got a Benz, I got 6,000 square foot house. That means nothing if you ain't happy. Robin Williams had everything. The man committed suicide. Everybody can have a lot of things and still commit suicide because they're not happy. So you made it to your happy place, as they say. You've gotten to your happy point. What legacy would you like to leave, or what legacy would you like to pass on, knowing the knowledge that you know right now, starting from A to B?
Man, and I honestly, I always think of this, and the only thing that can come to my mind is when a person speak my name, I need them to know and say that he brought good energy to the room and he was always happy. That's it, man. I'm everywhere I go, man. I mean, my desired goal is to bring joy. Mm-hmm. You know, to bring joy, man. I want to have fun. You know, if you know me, you know, I'm gonna make a laugh out of something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna make a laugh out of something. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, just me, bro. And if you went to school with me, you know, I'm always laughing, having fun. But you know, when it came down to, you know, whatever I needed to do, I did it. You know what I mean? Other than my schoolwork. You know what I'm saying? You know, but
that part.
But I just want to be. I want to bring, you know, to this world, man. Just, you know, to this world, I want to bring good energy, man, because I feel if I leave some good energy here, a tad of good energy, then my grandkids and my great grandkids that I never see could somebody would always touch them, because see, I feel if I keep doing something wrong to somebody. Mm-hmm. They might not do nothing wrong. Nothing bad might not even happen to me. Mm-hmm. It's gonna happen to some of my great grandkids. You know, so I want my work is to be good for them, and like I always say that my blessings came from not me. My grandmother, my great grandmother before her prayed. And all that praying they did is what put the blood on me. Mm-hmm. Because I've been I've been to prison. Yeah, I've been shot too. Mm-hmm. I've been shot. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
Oh yeah, I've been shot, stabbed.
Where'd you shot at?
In the stomach.
Really?
Yeah, I've been shot in the stomach, man. You know, survived that, bro. I was shot, man, and at a young age, man, and that year I got shot, bro. It was like 3 or 4 other guys in my city got shot in little places, man, and on their body, and they died, bro. Mm-hmm. They died. You know, and I shook back from my gunshot wound. I was in the hospital for 7 days, man, and but I never let that stop me, you know. Yeah. But to say that, man, I just want people to remember me as a person that brought good energy to the room, good energy to anything I touch. I want to bring good energy. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people get offended by that because they can't take me, bro.
Yeah.
When like you said, when I walk in the room, bro. Even when I was in prison, bro. When I walked in the room, I stuck my stuff on my bag on my bunk, and I faded that day room. Who got the chess game? Who got the checkers? Mm-hmm. That's what I did before I even did my bed. Sometimes I would make my bed up and I go hit that day room. What's happening? You know, that's the way I was. I mean, I'm no different than I was in prison.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm when I say different, I mean, you know, I don't do it and indulge in the things that I did before I went in there. But I'm saying my personality.
Yeah. Your core. Who you are. Your core.
Exactly. You know, that's who I am. You know what I'm saying? And so. And guys, you know, they respected that, you know what I'm saying? And then, you know, the younger guys, they start clinging to that positive. When you start doing positive, man, positive gonna come to you.
Yeah.
No matter how much negative you done, if you continue to do positive, bro, positive gonna come to you, man. And,
yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you, man, being in my skin right now, man, so much stuff, Ken, when I tell you, man, it's coming to me, man. It's coming to me, man. And I'm good, bro. I'm beautiful.
I think that is probably because you don't change. I know me, when I'm dealing with, in the business world, you're dealing with business people, like DMA said, it takes too much time to not trust people. Mm-hmm. So you appreciate authenticity. You appreciate a person who is who they are at all given times. Like my brothers always